way Hindus say you can be sure about God, the only way the Hindus recognize is first an encounter. Unless you suppose you say, oh, Vivekananda was able to see the spirit in Atman, good for him, not good for me. Unless I can experience this thing for myself, I cannot be sure. It is better to be agnostic, saying, I don't know. This is the humble way Hindus like to relate. If you like, the rational Hindus like to relate to the idea of religion. So far, I don't know. Maybe it is true, maybe it's all airy-fairy stuff. Because when you say, see, again I show you the challenge from rationality. Suppose they say Buddha was enlightened. So, all right, good for Buddha. And suppose you ask a rationalist, how can you, this shows something more to us, there's something called spiritual. He said, no. Maybe, look, this is the challenge it comes. Maybe this guy had a bit of short circuit in the brain, and he saw light and power and all that. It is nothing but brain malfunction. And they actually come out with experiment. You must see the beauty of this thing. You must be open to challenges and interact with the challenges. Don't get frightened by it. See, our system is open. So, for example, in some of the universities in the West, I think in the United States mostly, must be California, they are getting some poor students, university students, to come and participate in an experiment. And they, of course, pay them a couple of $100. And these youngsters, of course, they're always short of money. They're quite happy. And the experiment is they're taken in a laboratory, and they put little electrodes are put in their frontal lobe here. Insert. Very tiny, otherwise the guy, you'll short circuit him for life. And they send little bit of current. This is true. They're doing this. And they've discovered that by stirring up this part of the brain, that individual gets, I'm seeing light, I'm seeing sparks. And he feels excited, gets excited and comes out. So the scientist said, see, it is nothing but brain malfunction. If you like, brain short-circuiting, creating, enlightenment. And they call this the God spot. They call this the God spot. That experiment is going on even now. So you see, the straightway challenge that even perhaps your prophets who are saying, oh God, maybe they've got a bit of problem. Maybe it's not real. See, you must be able to take this on. And the response that the Hindus would give is very simple. He said, yeah, but then after this guy comes out of the experiment, the lab, he's back to his normal self. Where is that girl that I was chasing after? Or where is the drink? I must have a drink, I've got $200. So he's back to normal. He doesn't turn into a Buddha. So that particular thing that kind of stirred him up has not produced a Buddha. It has given him a glimpse of what Buddha would be like, a glimpse. But he can't deal with it, relate to it, or turn it into practice. So you basically are giving him free sample, but free samples come with a health warning. So that guy is back to normal, he's not turned into Buddha. So we are saying there's much more than just brain malfunction that produces this kind of God experience. So the proof of the pudding basically is in the eating. So the Hindus say, look chaps, it's good for you to explore religion in its true light. At the same time, the only way you can be sure about, any one of you can be sure about this thing called religion or God is, you have to encounter, you have to put your hand in the nice way of saying it, suppose you put your finger in the electric socket, you go, hey! I'm not suggesting you start doing that to get spiritual experiences. I'm simply saying the proof of the pudding is unless you encounter this thing called the spirit, Atman, you can never be sure about it. Always be very realistic and very mature in your way you handle religion. But you see, I've given you a wonderful idea of why this chap was created. It was created, so the Abrahamic religion said God created us in His image. The Hindus say, no, we create God in our image. Exaggerated human with positive things.